All right, guys, to end it off, I just wanted to talk about a few things, and then we're going to go ahead and go with our activity synthesis with our graph of actual tangent. So this all led us up to what does the graph of tangent look like? So before we graph it, let's just go ahead and talk about a few things, namely explain why the graph of tangent of theta has a vertical asymptote at x equals pi over 2. So if you guys recall from our table, if you guys look at pi over 2, it's undefined. Why is that? Because tangent of pi over 2 is going to give us sine over cosine, or 1 over 0, and you can't divide by 0. So this is undefined. Okay? And what you guys will see when you guys graph tangent is we're going to have this function that is starting to increase over time. This is 0. This is going to be negative pi over 2. This is pi over 2. And when you guys are looking at it, what's going to happen is it goes through here at 0, and it starts to approach this as it's getting bigger. And what's going to happen as a result of being undefined there is your function, once you plug in numbers that are very, very, very close to pi over 2, you are going to get a number that is very, very big from the left-hand side. And when you go over to the right-hand side, what's going to happen is you're going to have a function or a negative value that's going to be doing something that's very similar to it. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why it does have a vertical asymptote. So does the graph of tangent have other vertical asymptotes? Well, let's go ahead and just assume that we're going to continue to go in this fashion, and it goes and it does a similar thing. This right here is called its period, and this is 3 pi over 2. So when we're looking at it, we're able to say that every pi over 2 rads, it should have the same thing. What pi over 2 rads? Every pi rads, excuse me. It's going to have a vertical asymptote. Okay, so which values of sine of theta is 0? When you guys are taking a look at it, if you're looking at this, whenever you have a pi, a multiple of pi, it's going to give you 0. Pi times 0, pi times 1, pi times 2, it's going to actually end up giving you 0. So from that, what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and take a look at the actual graph of it, and we're going to just talk about a few of the things. Specifically, what you guys are going to see is we're going to go through the origin. This is going to be pi over 2, and this is going to be our vertical asymptote, and this is negative pi over 2. And as we just said, that every pi over 2 rads, this is going to occur again. So this is going to be 3 pi over 2, and then it would be 5 pi over 2. And so on and so forth. And what you guys will notice is that on the left-hand side, it's going to be negative. On the right-hand side, it's going to be positive. Why is that? Because we're taking a positive value here, and we're dividing it by a negative value here, so it's going to be negative. Over here, you're going to have a positive value divided by a positive value, so it's going to have to be positive then. So once again, we have our graphs of cosine, and we have our graph of sine. And when we take each of these and we divide the values for it, that's actually how we find the value for the tangent graph. Okay, so from that, guys, that's about it. You guys should have learned the words throughout this. The function is periodic. Why is it called periodic? Because it repeats itself over a constant interval, and it continually does that. Okay, so that's one of the big words from this, and tangent as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys.